Hey, it's Jeffrey Howard from Mastermind Mentor International. Thank you for being here for Finish Strong Friday, #FSF. We're going to get started here in just a minute, but before we do, please click the like button, click the subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber, and you might want to hit that notifications button, that little bell. It's going to give you an update every time we upload a new video so that you can stay up to date with what we do here. Finish Strong Friday is all about mindset. 90% of your success or failure falls right here between your ears, right? So we're giving you strategies, not just of positive thinking, which is all great, not just powerful tools and affirmations, which are all great, but actual tools for productivity, for mindset strategy, and things that you can do to stay on track and stay focused and stay motivated as an entrepreneur. So we're going to get started right now in exactly 7 seconds. Here we go.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire.
Oh,
Boom,
all right.
we're live.
We are live.
Welcome,
Cool.
welcome.
Welcome to, wait, where are we again? Oh, it's Finish Strong Friday, #FSF. Awesome. We are going to have some fun today. We're going to give you some very practical skill that you can use in your life on a daily basis that's going to help you in everything from your relationships to your business to pretty much everything that involves humans, which is pretty much everything. So I'm Jeffrey Howard, and we do these trainings every Friday here on the Facebook Live, as well as in a live webinar. And this is what we call Finish Strong Friday. We focus primarily on mindset, but we try to give you practical applications for things that you can use by the end of the training, not just to shift your own mindset, but actually to practically use in your life. We're all about getting strategic as well as, getting sort of philosophical and theoretical. And, we have a lot of fun with these. We enjoy the interaction, and we do welcome your interaction. So whether you're live on Facebook or live on the webinar, you can put your comments in the chat, put your questions in the chat, and we welcome that. So just a quick background, I'm a peak performance coach. I've been coaching for almost 2 decades now, kind of a serial entrepreneur, been involved with online businesses and all kinds of businesses, including coaching for many, many moons. I've the last time I fired my boss, as our beloved Jerry likes to say, was in 1996. So we're going to be celebrating 23 years next month since I was able to say, hasta la vista, baby, to a bunch of lawyers. That was a really satisfying day. So anyway, I am a guy who enjoys a lot of different things, especially creative things, writing, actually just putting the finishing touches on a book I'm going to have out on Audible here shortly, cross my fingers. I'm a musician my whole life, and, used to have big hair, rock and roll hair back in the 80s, early 90s, when I did my thing back in the day. So, and I'm most importantly, probably a dad. I'm a dad to 4 boys ranging in age from 33 to 17. So that's me. And let me introduce you to my business partner, Eric Jacobson. So boom, oops, other side. Take it away, Eric. Tell us about
Hey, Jeff. So Jeff didn't like my intro last week. So. And I apologize for that, but it's funny because what I'd said then, and which is truly kind of, I'm trying to be more, be humble and just be a servant and be helpful, and just trying to do the best I can. I'm a simple person. I live a simple life. I am a father. I have a 16-year-old son at home, and I've got and I'm married for going on 29 years this year. Long time. It's crazy. and I live in St. Paul, Minnesota, and I love to help people, and I want to help you today build rapport, build your relationships better in person, over the phone, and in social media. So excited about this training today, and excited to give you some nuggets that you can turn around and use today, and help you finish strong on this Friday. So
awesome.
I've already had a great Friday so far. I've been finishing strong since early this morning. That's why I didn't get a chance to shave. I was just talking to Jeff. I looked in the mirror this morning like, I got to make sure I shave before we get on that training. And then I've been on the phone all day and haven't had a chance to even consider it. So here we are.
Hello, this is my business partner, Scruffy in St. Paul.
Finishing strong.
St. Paul, by the way.
Finishing strong, which is what it's all about. That is what it's all about.
Yeah, St. Paul, Minnesota. I was watching. All right, I'll tell you how much of a nerd I am. All right, I watch Jeopardy. I record Jeopardy and I watch it. My mom watched it when I was little. I got kind of addicted to Jeopardy. I never knew the answers back then, but now I know the answers, a lot of the answers. So yesterday, because of my relationship with Eric, I was able to answer the question, what is the northernmost state capital on the Mississippi River in the category of towns on the or cities on the Mississippi? So St. Paul, Minnesota. Who didn't know that?
What is St. Paul, Minnesota?
What is St. Paul, Minnesota? All right, let's get going, guys. Finish Strong Friday. We're going to rock you with how to build rapport in today's world. It is somewhat challenging these days in many cases, but you know what? First of all, actually, let's talk about what does that mean? You know, what does rapport mean? If you're not familiar with the term, rapport is by definition a close and harmonious relationship with people in people or groups, basically people that are in sync with each other, that understand each other's feelings, that can communicate smoothly with their ideas and concepts. So, you know, we're going to talk about some tools that you can use, various types of ways that you can do that. Now, why is this beneficial? Why should you care about building rapport? I mean, we're in an online business, right? So do you have interaction with other people? Well, one way or the other, you probably do. I mean, we know that, for example, in the 14-day challenge, we have greater success when we have personal touch with someone to help them understand why it's important to go through the 14-day challenge. Okay, so that's just one example. But unless you live in a cave like a hermit, which you probably don't if you're here watching or listening, you know, for the most part, we have to interact with people all the time. And, you know, the more social media comes into our world, the more we experience this sort of, I don't know, what's the right word, divisive kind of choosing sides world that we live in right now, the more it's important, especially to build rapport with people who don't necessarily see eye to eye exactly with your beliefs or with your politics or whatever it might be. You know, so whether you're in, you know, any kind of direct selling, network marketing, online marketing, or just in relationship communication in general, rapport building is a tool that is extremely valuable. I would say that I would put it right up there toward the top, if not the top skill that Eric and I have worked on over the last few decades of our work in this industry to be able to, you know, create the levels of success that we have. So let's talk a little bit about rapport. And, you know, obviously we can talk about rapport over the phone. You can even use these tools and the tactics that we'll share with you to a certain extent, even if you're in writing, text messaging, leaving a voicemail message, or obviously it works really, really well in person too.
Yeah.
So,
well,
Eric,
I've got something to add to that before we move on. Is it, you know, what I like Jeff said, I think the big thing that Jeff and I bring to the table is our ability to very quickly build rapport with people so that they feel like they know, like, and trust us in a very quick manner. Now, a lot of what we do is on video, and the next best way for people to get to know, like, and trust you, other than talking to them face to face or talking to them over the phone, is to show them videos, right, of you, and that's where they feel like they're getting to know you without actually having a conversation with you, and that's a great thing to do. So this rapport building you can use in your videos as well, but when I'm dealing with people online, I like to move that relationship offline and just over the phone as quickly as I can with people so that there's an opportunity to build rapport. So if you get really good at these skills that we're going to teach you right now, you're going to want to add that to your repertoire. You're going to want to add that to the things that you do, because at the end of the day, people do business with people they know, they like, they trust. And that's the goal that you want to create as quickly as possible. And what better way to do that than actually, you know, communicating with them directly. So.
For sure. The KLT factor, know, like, and trust. That, you know, that's a fact. Most of you probably heard that before. You know, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. People do anything with people they know, like, and trust. Who do you hang out with that you don't know, like, and trust? I mean, it happens in, I mean, maybe we're being overly simplistic about this, but it really is every aspect of communication, every relationship you have, whether it's business, personal, with your kids, whatever it may be. So let's talk about some tools that you can use. And again, some of these are, we do a lot of work over the phone. When we work with our clients, some of the clients that we work with, we do, we help them to get more business to their business. So for example, set up back end closing systems and things along that line. So, one of the things, it's really important for us to be able to, like Eric said, very quickly make a connection with someone. So there's lots of different ways to do this. We're going to kind of go back and forth between in person and over the phone. But again, some of these things can be used also, just in your languaging through a text message, languaging through an email. So the best and most common way to build rapport is to find the common ground between you and that person. And this is really the easiest. It's also the fastest way. And when you talk to people, just find out what you have in common with them. We tend to like people who are like us. And your conversations are always going to be more positive when the person you're talking to is like you, or they think, more importantly, they think you are like them. So, what can you do to find that common ground? Well, the first thing, the most important thing, and this is a tactic or a technique that you'll use perpetually in building rapport, and that is ask questions, right? But not just asking questions randomly, but you ask good questions, ask pointed questions, look, people love to talk about themselves. So ask questions and then listen for the common ground that you have with that person. Look for the similar interests that you have, similar contacts in common, experiences in common. One of the things, for example, when we're making phone calls and Eric and I are choosing who's going to make the call when our leads come in, somebody might come in, say, from a 303 area code, right? So I know that's Colorado. I know that's Northern Colorado, probably Boulder. I grew up in Boulder. That's a good call for me to take because that's like an immediate connection, an immediate rapport building tool that I can use. Or somebody leaves a message and says, yeah, I'm a musician and I'm, I can tap into that. Eric, we get some.
If one of the 6 people that lives in North Dakota gets on the call, then I am from North Dakota. I'm going to be able to relate to one of those 6 people that live there still and really be able to, have a common ground with them.
That's funny. But yeah, same thing applies. We just had something come through a couple of days ago, 612 area code. It's like, oh, all right, there you can, but you should probably take that one. That's somebody in your backyard. So yeah, look for those similar interests. Look for the contacts you have in common, experiences that you have in common. Is it music? Is it art? Is it a similar background in work? What is it that you have in common with the person first? So ideally, you want to ask those questions that elicit positive responses as well. You definitely want to make sure you don't go into like an interrogation, have somebody feel like you're just grilling them, but people do really enjoy talking about themselves. Most people, I would say, it's very common for people to want to just go into their story. One of my favorite questions in our business, the type of business that we work in, is what's got you looking at new income opportunities at this point in your life? And, when you deliver that question in a very sort of casual way, so it doesn't sound like you're, digging in all up into their personal business, it's an icebreaker, but it's also, the question itself is structured to get someone to start opening up a little bit. What's got you looking at new income opportunities at this point in your life? The most important element of that question is the answer, and the answer to the question is going to tell you a lot about that person. So their background, their passions, and it's going to tell you about their pain point. Right? When you ask somebody that question, it opens up the floor for them to be able to say, oh my God, I'm so sick of my job. Oh, really? What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a home care nurse, and I'm just, I'm in my 50s now, and it's just so physically demanding. And I'm not making this stuff up. I'm literally I'm giving you responses people have given to me. You ask that question, and people will open up about what the problem is. And then your job is simply to create a solution to their pain, either with our business model or your online business or whatever it is that you're doing.
And one of the techniques that you'll get better at as you start doing that what's got you looking at new income opportunities at this point in your life, or what's got you looking right now? Why now? I ask that a lot of different ways, but it's basically the same question, but that's the starting point. right? That's the starting point to kind of discovering more about them. And the whole idea of discovering more about them is trying to find the smallest little things where you can have common ground on. Oh, you're from North Dakota. I'm from North Dakota. Wow, there's only 6 left. Isn't that crazy? So, we all moved away. You stayed. Of course, I moved south for the warm weather in Minnesota, and it's a blizzard right now as we speak. So I'm not too bright, but I might get to Iowa by the time I'm 70, so anyways.
Be on the beachfront in Iowa.
So anyways, it's, I'm sorry, we're in a good mood today.
We're kind of having some fun time today too. And it's awesome. We have so much fun with this. One of the things that comes up for me a lot is, when people ask me where I live, I say, or people tell me, sometimes people say, I ask them what you like to do. Well, I like to go out and socialize with friends. I like to go out to dinner. I love good wine. Oh, you love good wine. Well, I live where the wine lives. I'm in Sonoma County, California. And we just come out and visit Sonoma County. We'll go wine tasting. There's like 750 wineries within, 15 miles of me. So, there's all kinds of things. You'd be amazed. Like there's 7+ billion people in the world now. You've got a lot of things in common with a lot of people. And it's not hard to find out just by asking them questions.
Yeah, the point I was trying to make before I got off sidetracked is that just that initial question is not the end question. It's the question to get them to open up a little bit more to you, right. And it allows you to ask additional questions just to find out just more about them. The more that's all kind of ammunition that you're going to use later on if you're in a sales type environment that, you're building rapport, you're getting to know them better, and you're also finding out reasons why they're looking that you're going to use later on in the conversation.
Yeah.
When you go to asking for the sale or whatever, or going to, moving to the next step.
And not in a manipulative way, but just in a persuasive way. It's just, rapport allows you to make a sale without ever selling anything. Just looking at it in this environment. And I know a lot of people have a lot of resistance to the concept of sales. But the bottom line is you're selling all the time. It doesn't matter. I mean, if you're living in this world right now, you're selling. You're selling. If you have teenagers, you're selling or you're being sold, one or the other.
All the time. Sell or be sold. That's that is the truth. I mean, that really is the case, in every conversation you're having, and you got to realize that, especially with teenagers.
Yeah. I guess how we know that, just for the record,
So, all right, we better keep moving.
Yes, that's right. You got to, go ahead.
Yeah. So the next thing is just use the person's name, get their name, make sure you're pronouncing it right. Right. Oh, how do you pronounce your name again? Oh, great. And then you want to use it throughout the conversation, but don't go overboard on this. No, don't like say their name every third word that you say. But what you do want to do is from time to time, just put their name back into what you're saying. Oh, so what you're saying, Jeff, is that you really want to, create some more time freedom in your life. You want to have something that generates more of a passive income so that you can spend more time with your family. Am I hearing you correct, Jeff? All right, great. That kind of a thing. I don't know if I would say Jeff twice in that scenario, but whatever.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do it. So there's kind of a little bit of an art to that, but try it. Try just doing it versus not doing it, and you'll see a huge difference. People do love to hear the sound of their name. There's no sweeter sound than someone hearing.
So here, this next one, I'm going to give an example, Jeff, of the next one. So what if you called somebody and they answer the phone and they're really quiet and they're kind of talking really low? What would be the wrong thing to do, and what would be the right thing to do as far as talking to somebody like that?
Hey, Eric, this is Jeff. How's it going, man? It's really great to meet you. I'm so happy that you're on the phone. Right.
Stop.
Yes.
I want to get off the phone. Quick. Let me hang up.
Right.
Yeah. So, what would be the right way to deal with someone like that?
It's called mirroring. It's actually an NLP technique. And it basically is just matching the person's, if you're in person, matching their body language, matching their speech, the way they speak, the tone of their voice, the pace of their voice. That's a really great way to build rapport quickly. And it's actually, there's really a cool thing you can do with mirroring and matching. If you ever get into like a heated discussion, a heated argument or a debate, or somebody, just kind of comes at you out of left field, you don't quite know what's going on, it's really great to mirror their energy first, and then you can do this thing called pacing. So for example, if let's just say we'll use the same example. We do a lot of work on the phone, right? So we call somebody, they forgot they left us a message, and they're like, who are you? Why are you calling me? Blah, 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 blah. Just start machine gunning back all this, sort of resistance and negativity. And I would say, well, hey, Eric, listen, man, I understand why you'd be a little bit frustrated, but here, just remember here, we just returning your phone call. You asked us for some information. I just wanted to return the call. So I started with his pace, but then I immediately brought it back down. And if you match them up properly, you can actually pace them to wherever you want that conversation to go.
That's a little bit more advanced. That's a little bit more difficult to do. I tend to be loud. I tend to be a bit aggressive. And when someone's really quiet and kind of shy and they speak slower than I do, I try to really, at the beginning of the conversation, I try to slow it down, to be more relaxed, to be more calm, to be
mindful, conscious.
So aggressive, and just be consciously quieter, a little bit more at ease, and taking my time in that conversation. It's going to make them feel comfortable with me subconsciously, and allow them to be more open in their answers with me. And that's my tendency, is to talk faster, to be more aggressive, to be kind of loud, boisterous. And that's where I try to catch myself. And so if you're a quiet person, and you're talking with somebody who is kind of loud and is kind of boisterous, try to, that's a little bit more uncomfortable for you, but try to pick it up a little bit. Try to be a little bit more, talk a little faster, get to the point a little quicker, things like that.
Yeah, it's not really hard to do. It's like we talk about on almost every training, we refer to awareness. It's a lot of this is just about being aware of what's actually happening. So, and that just takes practice. It's like anything else, it takes a little bit of practice.
The whole mirroring thing is also if you're actually in person with somebody, like if someone leans in, if you lean in at the same time, extremely effective. Or if they lean back and like put their hands on their head, you kind of lean back, not like, you don't want to look like I'm literally mirroring everything they do, but you want to kind of, subtly kind of lean back and maybe do a similar gesture. And extremely, extremely effective when you're in person.
Yeah, you want to don't want to do the mime thing, where you're literally like mirroring everything they do, because it's really obvious. It's like what they're like. They get, and then you immediately lose rapport and you lose their trust, because they can see you doing this. But
again, it's a more advanced technique. You need to be a little bit more in the groove on that.
Conscious of it, yeah. Well, and you know what? If you pay attention to this stuff, you're going to find that people do that with you. People do this actually naturally, but being more conscious of it, like people. Sometimes when you get in really good rapport with somebody and you're like in person, for example, you might find that like you'll cross your leg and then they'll cross their leg, not because they're mirroring you, but because they're actually pacing you, like they're following you now. Like when you get into this really great rapport, it's kind of cool. It's almost, I don't know, I don't want to say this in a negative way, but it's almost hypnotic in a sense. You start to get into this flow. And that's really what true deep communication is about, is to get into that flow where you're really just matching up energy across the board.
And if you are in sync with somebody, naturally it's going to happen. And it really makes it feel like it makes both people walk away from the conversation going, wow, I really like that Jeff. I can't wait to have a conversation with him again. It's awesome.
Yeah, what's not to like? So, okay. All right. So we're going to have to keep rolling here because we're running out of time. So,
all right. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So you want to be confident, you want to be friendly. So people are naturally attracted to warm, bubbly people, generally speaking. So you want to make sure that you're happy and friendly. Obviously, you don't want to go totally over the top, but just, and Eric pretty much touched on this in what he was just saying, just just match up with the person, do the pace that they're doing, but not, and then just, stay positive, and confidence is really, really attractive. And it takes a little practice to be confident if you haven't like done the things that you're wanting to do in your life yet. For example, if you're trying to be confident that you're going to make a sale, but you haven't made a sale yet, it takes a little practice. It's kind of like fake it till you make it in a sense. But, when you just have a happy, confident, positive attitude about all of it, it makes you come across as more likable. It's also going to help people who are nervous to feel more relaxed around you.
Yeah. So the next thing is just to make people feel good about themselves, right? If an opportunity arises, pay the person you're talking to a genuine compliment, heavy emphasis on genuine, like, it needs to be something real that you appreciate about them either. And it doesn't have to be like physically, it doesn't have to be, it can be, even like something as simple as, oh, you moved down to Florida to, because you wanted to, be able to spend more time close to your grandkids. That's just a great, that's a great thing to do. I mean, isn't it awesome being able to be around the people you love and spend more time with them? It doesn't, the compliment doesn't have to be like a physical characteristics or whatever, but something that's genuine, that's about them. And then people will naturally warm up to you and remember you in a more positive fashion if you make them a sincere compliment.
And you can continue to do it throughout the conversation. The more that you learn about someone, you reemphasize certain points, or they'll reemphasize certain points, and you can say, "Wow, that's the second time you said that. I really love that attitude you have about that, or I really love that, or admire that thing about you." It's especially great with your family relationships, with your kids, with your significant other. Wow, I really love that about you. And we sometimes forget to do that. Just in our most personal, intimate relationships. So there's a couple of things that you can do when you're in person. We've touched on a couple of things, and some of this overlaps a little bit. But when you're in person, it's a little bit of a different game, right, than when you're over the phone or over an email or whatever. But if you're in person, it's really important to make eye contact with someone. Maintain eye contact. And this is one of these things I still have to be really conscious about it. Even like we do a lot of Zoom calls like this, and I have to be like I can't, if I'm looking at Eric's eyes like I am right now, it doesn't look like I'm looking at him. I have to look at the camera to make it look like I'm looking at you. So that's like a practice thing. But when you're speaking to someone in person, you want to maintain eye contact. You don't want to be darting all over the room, watching all the other people. And, if you're looking around the room or at other people, they don't feel like you're paying attention to them, and you lose that rapport.
Yeah. And like Jeff just said, on a Zoom meeting, like if I've got two monitors set up, if I've got I always make sure that whatever I'm looking at is what on my monitor here where my camera is. Because if I'm looking over here and I'm saying, yeah, Jeff, you're exactly right. It just feels so weird, even on video, when you're not, you're carrying on a conversation to who are you talking to?
I'm building a really strong rapport with Eric's ear right now.
So so just be aware. So if your monitor's set up over here and your computer's over your camera's over here, make sure you're looking at your camera when you're talking if you're participating in a Zoom call. So
in person, it's fine to look away every now and then.
Yeah.
In fact, it's better to not, you don't want to stare someone down. You don't want to be like sitting here making this kind of eye contact, just thinking you're psycho. But, just maintain good natural eye contact. Deep down, most people just want to be heard. And this is a silent way of letting people know that you're listening, is when you're looking at them in the eyes. You're watching what they say.
Yeah. The next thing is present an open body language. Now what's interesting is this actually works in person, and it also works over the phone completely. And subconsciously they can't, like over the phone, they can't see you, but they can. There's something about body language and about how your physical state is as you're talking to somebody. They can tell over the phone. And they might not like say, oh, this guy is, this guy's like all puckered up, you know, with his arms crossed as he's talking to me, but they might not tell like exactly, but so it'll feel like something's wrong, you know. That
Let me make a real quick point here, Eric. I want everybody to just listen. Like if you were paying attention just now, his whole energy shifted when he did that. I mean, he was just trying to illustrate a point. When he crossed his arms and puckered up and talked about puckering up, his whole voice energy completely shifted. And that wasn't, I mean, I know he was intentionally trying to make a point, but a lot of that happened because of the body language that he was using.
Yeah, it just happens.
Just naturally go into that.
So having an open body language is your face, your body's towards the person that you're speaking to, and at times even leaning in, you know, when they're talking, to show that you're engaged, and nodding your head, you know, being affirmative, nodding your head even when you're on the phone. Actually, it's interesting.
You know, yeah, it's
completely works.
Like we talked about last week, everything is energy. People can feel your energy. They may not know it consciously. They may not be saying, well, he's doing this or he's doing that, but they will feel your energy based on what you're doing. One of the things, like for me, when I'm on the phone, Eric knows this probably better than anybody, I pace around the house a lot. Sometimes that really revs up my energy. And so sometimes I have to force myself to just go sit down so that I can have a more focused, calm conversation. So I feel like I'm more engaged with the individual person. That's just me, but I know some people are like that. You know, I'm just a like explosive bundle of energy all the time. So the last thing,
go ahead.
Yeah, the last thing is just when you're in person, you want to be aware of your facial expressions. Okay. So not only do you want to maintain good eye contact, but you want to be careful what comes across your face or how your face responds to something someone says. Sometimes yeah, or yeah, like, oh wow!
You almost done talking. I want to say.
Are you guys done yet? Yeah. So yeah, if you're yawning, or you know, people think you're bored or disengaged, and even if you're just tired, I mean, try to consciously really push yourself to not do that. Usually yawning is not something about being tired. It's actually about a lack of oxygen, or it's like it's almost like a nervous defense mechanism. And, you know, you should be, if you have a tendency to do that, you should be aware of what it is that triggers that for you. But if you're frowning, people might think you're disagreeing with them. If you're smiling and nodding, like Eric said, you know, they're going to feel like you're agreeing with them, and they're going to feel like they want to talk to you some more. You know, you're basically telling them to go on. You're energetically telling them to go on. Yeah. Kirti just said, very true. People feel your energy. So, yeah, so those are some really basic tools that you can use to build rapport. But, you know, once again, going back to the beginning where you know, why do you care about this? This actually affects probably as much or more than any other thing you will do. It affects everything in your life, your interactions and relationships with people. Building a level of rapport, having this type of connected communication makes all the difference in the world. I know for us, it's made a huge difference in, you know, when back in the day before we knew these things, you know, the level of success we were able to create with people, building teams, building, you know, leadership levels, things along that line. It's made a huge difference. And it's, and Eric's yawning.
I'm sorry. Gosh, defense mechanism. It totally happened.
So busted.
I know. I'm sorry. Oh my God.
Oh,
you caught me.
Yeah. Wow. I feel really bad now.
133. I'm sorry. It was a defense mechanism. I told you we had to be right on time today.
Yeah. All right. We're over time. Eric's got to roll. So listen, you guys, take these tools to heart. You know, there's a lot of different things that you can use to upgrade that. Mostly it's just about awareness. You know, you have to be aware of what you're doing. You be aware of what they're doing. Be conscious. Be interactive. You know, you'll build better rapport. You'll have more friends. You'll have better relationships. You'll definitely make more sales. So that's it for now. Eric, you want to wrap something up?
Yeah, just wrapping up, you know, have fun. You know, you can see Jeff and I are having fun while we're doing this training. You know, that's the other thing is, you know, while you're talking to you know, be a fun person. You don't have to be cracking jokes all the time, but, you know, smile when you're talking, have a good time, you know, and that's just going to help you overall, and just in life, man. This is such a life thing that's just in every aspect of what you do is going to help you, and that's what Jeff just covered. But for sure do that.
Yeah, 100%. All right, you guys. Well, that's Finish Strong Friday. #FSF. We are a wrap. Go out and use these tools. Go out and crush it. Finish Strong Friday. We'll see you same bat time, same bat channel next week. Have an awesome weekend. You guys take care.
All right. Thanks, you guys. See ya.